Blue Eyes deck profiles because that's what I do. Hi, Local Dragon Lady here, and yes, I'm doing a good old-fashioned physical deck profile for Blue Eyes. So this is going to be post-ban list for fall 2022. Boy, it's a lot of changes. So I've actually been building a couple of Blue Eyes decks, so this is one of them. Now this one focuses more on a control-ish kind of strategy and going for the kill kind of thing. So yeah, let's just dive right into this and you will see what I'm talking about. Okay, for monsters, a lot of this is going to be pretty standard stuff. So we have 3 vanilla Blue Eyes White Dragons. We have 2 Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragons. 2 seems to be the perfect ratio here. 1 Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. I find 1 is good. More than 1 is pretty bricky. It is a Blue Eyes card, so you can summon it from the deck via the effect of your eggs. This is a really good card actually, and it's a a lot of people find it pretty annoying when you go against Blue Eyes. As long as you keep a vanilla in your grave, so that's kind of the goal of Blue Eyes now. Get at least one of these in your grave, and this guy is live. Basically, he can special summon himself from the grave or your hand if any card on your side of the field gets popped, so out he comes. If he battles, what happens is that you can, at the damage step, you can bounce a card back to your opponent's hand, and as long as he stays on your side of the field, none of your cards can be destroyed by card effects, which is crazy. And this includes your back row too, so he's really handy. 1 Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon. This guy normally goes off, well, again, once you gotta keep a vanilla in your grave for this guy to get the full benefits. But once he comes out on the field, if this guy's in your grave, you can search your deck for a polymerization, and also in the end phase, you can search your deck and add to your hand a level 8 dragon monster, which is really good, right? And it's also a Blue Eye, so again, it can hatch from an egg. 1 Galactic Spiral Dragon. This is one of the level 8s you can add to your hand via the effect of a Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon. Also, if it's in your grave, the effect can trigger as well. So as long as you have more than 1 dragon monsters that are light or dark or a combination of both, you can start to summon this guy from your grave or your hand in defense, and the effect is it can turn all of your monsters, and they don't have to be dragons, into level 8. So this is really good for going into your rank 8 plays. 2 copies of Dictator of D. This is a really good card. It's basically Magician's Souls for Blue Eyes White Dragon, and 2 seems to be working pretty well for this particular build. But what you do is you can reveal this card, you send a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand or the deck and send it to your graveyard, and you can special summon him. You can use the second effect by sending a Blue Eyes White Dragon or a card that mentions it from your hand to the grave, and you can special summon the Blue Eyes White Dragon from your grave to the field. So it's really good for extending your plays. And also, I forgot to mention, a lot of people forget this, as long as he stays on the field, if your opponent were to try to attack Dictator, you can redirect that attack to a Blue Eyes monster, and they cannot redeclare the attack if you do this. So yeah, I've actually, I forgot that myself a couple of times, because that's not really the main reason people put him there, but it's still useful nonetheless if you're not able to get rid of them through play extensions. 3 Sage with Eyes of Blue, real standard, very important card. 1 Whitestone of Legend, that is good enough. 3 Whitestone of the Ancients. We have a lot of Blue Eyes cards in this deck, so this can hatch them all, and of course, if you want to, you can definitely banish it from your graveyard to recover 1 from the grave and put it into your hand. These are all tuners, so that is crazy important because we are focusing more on a few synchro plays in this deck. 1 Effect Veiler is a tuner. Light is also searchable off the effect of Sage, and 1 Jet Seagram because yeah, we can do this. And you don't need Needle Fiber for this card to be good. I have numerous ways to get this guy to the graveyard and to abuse him for some synchro plays. For Magic, I have 3 copies of Bingo Machine Go. You can get away with just 2 of these, but this card is ridiculous. So naturally you can use this to search for a Blue Eyes monster or a magic or trap that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon. So this can search out quite a lot in this deck. So yeah, just reveal 3 of those cards that meet that criteria. It is a random selection when you put them face down and you pick one. So I'm not playing 3 copies of all the stuff you can search for. 2 copies seems to be a decent strategy because it allows you to fit more of other cards in your deck. And of course, if you pick out 2 of those cards and another Blue Eyes or Magic Trap card, odds are the one you want will go to your hand. 3 trade-in, standard, this is for draw power, 3 Melee the Waking Dragon, again very standard to search for your dragons. 1 Foolish Burial because there are multiple targets you can descend to the grave, and 1 Dragon Shrine for the same reason. You can have multiple copies of Dragon Shrine if you like, but the only downside is it's only once per turn, so I find 1 Dragon Shrine, 1 Foolish Burial, so at least if you happen to get both in your hand, you can use both of them if you like. 1 for 1. This is a search for your tuner. 1 polymerization for a fusion plays because it's unsearchable off of Blue Eyes Abyss, and 2 copies of Ultimate Fusion. 3 would be good if you're able to fit it in there. Now, when it comes to back row removal, usually I have it in the side deck, but Ultimate Fusion is actually a real good way to get around Mystic Mine because if you fusion summon a Blue Eyes monster using Blue Eyes White Dragon that's on the field, this card allows you to destroy a number of cards that your opponent controls to the same number of Blue Eyes monsters you can, that you use. So say if you have 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, and this includes Blue Eyes Ultimate because it turns into Blue Eyes White Dragon, to a Blue Eyes Tyrant, a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, Neo Blue Eyes, or whatever. If you use 3 of them, this allows you to destroy 3 cards your opponents control. And if they're using Mystic Mine, well, there you go. That's an out to Mystic Mine if you really need to. And for traps, we have 2 copies of Destined Rivals. This is searchable off of Bingo Machine Go, and this is basically a monster negate. As long as you control a Blue Eyes White Dragon and you activate this, this negates the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. So you gotta be careful with this because if they get their full field out and you activate this can turn them all off. Or if you activate it before they get all their monsters off, it could interrupt their plays from building a bigger board. So it's searchable, and it's also recoverable off the effect of Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon because this is a trap. 2, the Ultimate Creature of Destruction. Same story. I'm using 2 because it's searchable off of Bingo Machine Go. This basically makes your Blue Eyes monster immune to pretty much everything. And once it goes to the graveyard, you are able to recover it again by its own effect, but it will be banished, once it leaves the field. But if you want to avoid that, again, you can use the effect of Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon to bring this back and reuse it if you want, don't want to banish it. And 3 copies of Imminent Impertinence. This is basically the one of the best hand traps right now. You can activate it from your hand if you don't control any cards, or you can just set it for the future. And again, this is recoverable from effect of Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. You just get it back from the grave, set it, and keep using it over. Okay, on to the extra deck. So I'm using 2 copies of Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon in this. People are catching on to what this card does, so if one of them were to be, get banished or go to the graveyard, at least you can summon another one. So all this requires is a Blue Eyes White Dragon and 1 Dragon Monster. So that's really easy to do. This guy can attack all of your opponent's monsters, and it's immune to all trap effects. So that's, with a format like this where, back row is going to be coming back now thanks to the Banning Red reboot, this is going to be pretty handy. Also, this, once he battles, so even if your opponent were to slam into him, if you have a trap in your graveyard, you can recover it from the grave and set it. So that's why, even though you don't have many traps in this deck, once it comes out, you can just recover them. So yeah, I have traps that are searchable and recoverable thanks, Bingo Machine Go and this guy. 1 Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. This is really good for spot removal. He's also a really big beat stick, 4,500, and he cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects, so excellent protection. So if your opponent has anything really strong and you need to beat over it, well, this is a good guy to do it. And of course, if you it has the potential to destroy 6 cards if you're using Ultimate Fusion. In fact, you have the potential to destroy 7 cards because if you were to get out your Blue Eyes Blue Eyes Alt, okay, he can pop 1 card. He's a Blue Eyes White Dragon because he's on the field by the reveal effect. So if you have 2 other Blue Eyes White Dragons, fusion summon to him, he can pop 3 cards, and if you use this, that's another 3 cards because it came from the field. So this, it's uncommon to pull off, the 7-card combo destruction, but oh man, when you do, it works. 1 Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. This is a really good spot removal when he's often overlooked. And you don't even need polymerization to get him out, which is really handy. He can attack into 2 monsters, and if he cannot be destroyed by battle either, which is great because if he slams into something that's stronger than him, you're still going to take battle damage, but because he wasn't destroyed by battle, the monster you attacked into is going to be banished and is non-targeting. So that kind of protection won't work with him. Synchros, I have 1 Blue Eyes Spirit, easy to get out, self-explanatory. You can negate a graveyard effect with him, and of course at any point in time, the quick effect, you can tribute him and you can bring out another Dragon Light Synchro monster. The one I use for that is the Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. This is really good, a really good interrupter, especially in your opponent's turn. You can tribute, get out the Black Rose Moonlight, and you can target a monster your opponent controls, and you can bounce it back to the hand. However, though, if you do it during your turn, you can use the effect of Jet Synchron to bring it back to the field from the grave or any other tuner, and you can sync off into Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and this guy is really good. Has a built-in monster negate, and of course if it battles a monster that is a certain level, it can actually gain the attack and beat over it. So this is another good card in a pinch if your opponent has a monster that's really strong. Okay, you can just get this guy out and just beat over it. For XE monsters, I have 1 Zombie Vampire as a generic rank 8, super easy to get out, and it's basically a Foolish Burial and Monster Reborn in one. It's amazing. So if you detach a material, what happens is both you and your opponent have to mill the top 4 cards from the deck, and you can special summon one of those cards to your side of the field. So this is great because we have a lot of grave effects in Blue Eyes. But depending on what your opponent's playing, I mean, you're probably going to get rid of some important cards they have. If you wanted to stop them from reusing it, you can send it to, bring it to your side of the field, and, they can't play it. 1 Hope Harbinger, self-explanatory. It's good magic card negate. You can absorb it if your opponent uses it, and of course, if your opponent were to declare an attack to something else, you can redirect it to this guy for damage. 1 Lancelot. This is a mandatory monster negate, so just be careful you don't activate anything afterwards. But as long as you got material, you can attack your opponent directly, and you can also destroy a card. And of course, 1 common play that I do with this is after the battle phase, you go to main phase 2, you can overlay into Divine Arsenal Zeus, detach 2 and just wipe the board, especially if you don't have anything on your side. More common plays I have is number 97 Dragulion, because you can go into the OTK, so you can use the effect to overlay 2 numbered monsters. These are 2 I usually use. Now, Heart Earth Dragon is still pretty strong because, once he attacks, he can't be destroyed by battle, but if he attacks, any damage that he would have taken, your opponent's going to take it instead. And if you, at the end of your opponent's turn, you can detach a material, and any card that they, summoned, gotten out, gets banished. So they're going to want to get rid of this card, but usually overlay into number 100. Gains attack power based on the level that's overlaid, and this is usually you go in for the OTK. And for the last card, 1 Link Monster, 1 Link Karibo. You can use the Anima if you like, but this is just a quick way to normal summon any of your tuners or eggs, link off with Link Karibo, and you can get the effect of your egg. And that, my dragons, is one of my new Blue Eyes builds for this new format. It's not super competitive, but it is more of a, it's a standard Blue Eyes build to have fun with. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and remember to be a good sport, to play the game, not the game.